Hi, this is Casey from Casey Grandpa Tech, where your geeky grandpa talks tech. Today we're going to be talking about Tesla bot, the neural nets that are being created, and things of that nature. But before we begin, I just want to give a shout out to all you servicemen, your police officers, firemen, soldiers, and give you a thanks. 9/11 is tomorrow. I'm a survivor from 9/11. I was on the 98th floor of the first towers. I'm fixing something. I went downstairs to get a Tylenol because I had a pain in my side, and because of that I survived. And there's a big story behind that, but I don't want to get into that. My daughter was a firefighter down here where I live. My son was stationed in Afghanistan as a Marine, but he made it back home safe. So again, I just want to put a shout out to you guys and thank you for your service before I get started with the program. So, with that being said, I just want to talk to you a little about bots. As you know, Tesla a few weeks ago announced their Tesla bot, which is going to be based on the same AI of their self-driving car. And it will be used to run small tasks, walk about 5 miles an hour. And they had a big show showing off these prototype, or what we thought was the prototype, and let's get into that right now. So here's a Tesla bot, incredible, humanoid, dancing and everything else. But as we found out later, this was only a demonstration of what could be, but what isn't, it isn't. Of course, Tesla's competitors, which is one of them is US Robotics and several other companies, are now on alert that Tesla is going to jump into the market. But of course, they really don't even have a prototype yet, or so we thought. And it was a man in a suit, and Elon went on to discuss about how it's going to look. But of course, their competitors, US Robotics, just basically decided to have a little party and saying, who knows why, yeah, we're going to have more robots like us, we're going to be having more parties, more people, more robots to take over the world. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But this leads us to what I want to talk to you about. With the advent of more and more robotics and more activations of robots being used around us, what is the truth and what are we going to do about it? And we'll get into that right now. Of course, the question is, that Tesla's going to come up with their bot based on their AI. And a lot of other AIs are going to be coming out, different robots, different connections. Now, Tesla's bot, as we saw, it's got basically a bot. We've seen them before. He's hiring several engineers to build his bot. Now, interestingly, he was talking about that you can run away from it. It'll only travel at 5 miles an hour, and it'll be doing simple tasks. Tesla then later on announced that, okay, I do plan to use these on the spacecraft and be able to go and do menial tasks and be able to in dangerous positions and things of that nature. He also talked about a display that's on the front of the screen. Now, he didn't get into, it'll say customer readout and such information. I kind of wondered what would happen if you put an emoji face to tell you what it was doing. Maybe you've seen this from Doctor Who, the emoji robots. When it smiled and was happy, greeted you, and then was about to kill you, you would see the death face. Kind of crazy, but not too crazy. Because we're seeing today more and more bots and being deployed all over the planet to do a lot of things and being brought to your house, to your business, to the cities, to fill in tasks. And that leads to a question. Whoever controls these bots controls what's going on. And I'm going to get into that and the things that are frightening me right now. During the pandemic, US Robotics took their dog Spot and sold it to Singapore. And that was the first time I saw their dog being deployed. And it walked around in parks, on streets, and monitored people to make sure that they were being compliant, and that they were wearing a mask and doing everything like that. And it would read off the phone, so it would get your identity, and also it would take pictures of your face so that you know. Now, Singapore is the most powerfully controlled countries, where if you drop your wallet, no one else can pick up your wallet. They have to find a police officer and have somebody pick it up. Otherwise, they can be beaten for. There might be with a cane because they thought that they stole the wallet. They have to report it. They can't touch it. And you may remember years ago when that kid did some things in American in a Singapore country, and they were going to cane him, and there was a big fight about it. But recently, what's been happening, most interestingly, is New York City and other cities have deployed Spot. They were going to release him to actually go and start going where the New York City officer would go to prevent the officer from being hurt. So it would walk in and it would talk to the people, and so that if there was and evaluate the situation. Now, New York City pulled it back, but other cities have continued to use Spot. Now, that's just one instance. But if we go even further, who is the major manufacturer right now is Japan and China. And China has come up with their own version of Spot. And is only $1,000. Now, that makes it very affordable. And it acts just like Spot. If you kick it, it rolls over, it can climb, it can walk up steps, and if you saw with Spot, it has the claw, it can grab. That leads me to where I was going, and that is this. As many of you know, Amazon started Amazon Sidewalk. And what Amazon Sidewalk does is it allows every Amazon device to talk to every Amazon device, to talk to the refrigerators and everything else using the Bluetooth frequencies that are built into the device. As you know, the Alexa is just a speaker and a speaker.
No, there is not a speaker.
As you know, Alexa has a built-in speaker and a microphone and a Bluetooth device inside of it. And it transmits that information to Amazon headquarters, and that information then comes back with a response. They also bought, of course, Ring, which allows them to now connect all those devices, and now those Bluetooth devices are now connecting to refrigerators and this and that. Now what's coming next is that Apple, has announced that it's going to allow all of its phones to be connected through the newest AI software. And they're saying that still they can look for pornography and child abuse and things like that. But what they didn't say, and what both instances are doing, is they're creating an AI or a neural network that is connecting all of these devices to everything. What does that lead to? Skynet. Ultimate AI, where all the devices are connected to all the devices. And the computing power, if you connect every single phone to those devices, that's a huge AI, and that can be used for a very, very powerful computer, allowing us to do solving some interesting problems. But the other problem that occurs, who controls these devices? And that is where, like in Singapore, you're watched everywhere. And now they've got the robots deploying everywhere. You have robots deploying inside of shopping centers that patrol the entire stores, that record anything that's going on. And they're intelligent. So if they notice that a car's been parked there for a long time, they report it. If something's going on, they report it. But now you're going to take those robotic dogs for $1,000 and start deploying them in every house. And now you got the Tesla bot going to be in your house. And remember what I said. Every one of those computers is being linked together, and they are watching. Now, right now, of course, if a crime happens, the police, Ring and Amazon will give that footage to the police to help them. But that's just our country with our rules. But what about other countries where now you've got robot dogs walking down the street watching for you? And what happens if those AIs, something goes wrong? Whoever programs those AIs, controls what's going on. So let me just show you something that I think might frighten you, but it only shows that we are really growing faster than anything that we ever thought. Now you may have heard, and I'll leave this information in the link, that Tesla was testing apparently one of their robots, and I have 3 links to the 3 different articles, so you can check it out. I don't have the resources to check it, but apparently one of their bots, something went wrong. It got out of control, and it came off its link, whatever hold it up, and it came off and went full speed ahead and crushed one of the engineers that was designing it. This leads to the question is, who is monitoring who's designing this stuff? I mean, we have seen so many movies with Skynet, with Terminator, with cyborgs and this like that, that all of this now going to have to start to be regulated. Because when you have other countries who bring in their bots in, such as China and Japan, whoever controls those bots can do a lot of damage, whether intentional or not. I mean, if you've got a robot that's designed to knock down walls and suddenly it goes berserk, we've seen that. And what about remember the movie with Will Smith? Let's talk about that for a second. As you recall on that robot, they had robots just like the Tesla bot running around, doing chores for everybody, taking care of things, running to the store for you, doing all of these wonderful projects. And they were run by a central AI. Kind of sounds familiar now with Amazon's Sidewalk, Apple's network. They're all types of networks, all connecting together. And it's a great thing. All these networks will allow for self-driving cars. We already have AIs that are landing spacecrafts, and these are all great things. But what would happen if somebody got in there and hacked one of these computers and told the AI, hey, whatever? And that's what we got to start thinking about right now and start regulating. I believe, remember that Isaac Asimov's book, I, Robot, where they had the laws of the robot wasn't allowed to hurt people. Well, this is going to have to come about soon because these AIs are being run by major corporations, and these major corporations are run by who? Again, I am not going for or against these. I am simply putting the facts out to you that as we advance in society and we have bots doing this and bots doing that, and you have this huge neural network is being set up to create self-driving cars and things like that, it only takes somebody who's a hacker or somebody who's got a power-hungry thing to do something and cause a problem. So, I hope I gave you some things to think about. I mean, technology is a great thing. In the right hands, it creates opportunities for many things, for exploration, for space exploration, to allow bots to go into dangerous situations and handle situations where a human possibly could get injured. But the other half of the coin is we create these neural networks, and we create these networks using the phones and that. We have to be careful who's controlling what. We already are at that point with 1984 where your information is everywhere. And that is a problem. We need to control it and regulate it. Not because it's a bad thing, but because we need to know who has control of these devices. I hope this has been helpful for you. This is Casey from Casey Grandpa Tech Out. Like I said, I am amazed. I am 66 years old, and when I was watching sci-fi, a lot of the things that we saw on TV, the dreaming, were just dreams. And now, look at what's happened. We have bots, we have robots, we have devices that can fly. Amazon's talking about having their drones that's going to fly to and deliver packages, and then possibly you could have bots that could deliver. And I think it's Domino's now. Domino's has a self-driving device that delivers pizza to your house. So we are going, but the problem is we're going so fast that no one's taking a look and regulating what has to be done. So again, this is Casey from Casey Grandpa Tech out. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back to you with some more thoughts, more tech news. Until next time.